I'm sure there are many Mercedes fans out there who are expecting the Silver Arrows to bounce back from last season and challenge Red Bull for the title this year. While that hasn't happened yet, Mercedes has revealed promising news about an upgrade package in the works that could potentially catapult them to the front of the grid in a few races' time. Want to find out more about Mercedes' current challenges and their game-changing upgrade package? Then stick around for the rest of the video. The Australian Grand Prix has been the best weekend so far for Mercedes. Both George and Lewis qualified P2 and P3 respectively, besting the rest of the grid with pure pace. Lewis was able to carry that exceptional form into the race as he finished on the podium at second place. George Russell failed to finish the Grand Prix due to a power unit failure, but he would have probably finished P3 or P4 with the pace the W14 exhibited around Albert Park. On pure race pace, the W14 was the third fastest car on the grid, but Lewis Hamilton raced pretty well to hold off a charging Fernando Alonso to claim Mercedes' first podium of the 2023 season. Toto Wolff assessed Mercedes' progress from Bahrain up to Australia, and implied that the car for sure is not where the team needs it to be, but mentioned that the team is making progress with the current package. I think we made a good step forward this weekend on the single lap and race pace. Is this where our baseline needs to be? I'm not sure, but I think we maximized what we have, Wolff told media. It was good to see that we were racing Ferrari and Aston Martin, and we just need to consolidate them, and then the more we learn about the car and bring the upgrade packages, hopefully we can challenge the leaders more. During the Australian Grand Prix, Max Verstappen blasted past Lewis Hamilton before turn 9 with the aid of DRS. Hamilton has claimed that the RB19 is the fastest car he has seen over his Formula 1 career, as the RB19 has a 36 Kelvin ph speed advantage over the W14 when DRS is activated. The DRS advantage Red Bull has per lap is about 2 to 3 tenths per second. And many aerodynamicists have talked about how Red Bull are able to gain so much extra speed with that rear wing opened, and many have stated that it's more like the triple DRS trick. When asked about Red Bull's speed advantage in the DRS zones, Wolff believed it was up to Mercedes to respond to the surprising performance. They have a straight-line speed advantage with the DRS open that is just mind-boggling, added Wolff. But it's a meritocracy in this sport, and if you have a car that's that quick on the straight because you're doing the right things, then it's up to us to sort this out and find the tools to have the same straight-line performance. When you compare where the W14 was at Bahrain with where the W14 is now at Australia, Mercedes for sure seems to have made a step forward. But everyone was quite optimistic at the Mercedes garage, as they feel this superior performance could be track-specific. Both Mercedes drivers believe that Red Bull are certainly sandbagging, with Russell implying that Red Bull are pretty embarrassed to show their true performance on track. When asked if the Albert Park circuit had been a factor in Mercedes' improved performance, Wolff replied, "I think the Melbourne circuit was definitely an advantage for our car," he said. "It lacks a little bit of performance of the rear end, and the track definitely helped us. I think that's making us look a little bit better than we should be, but we know where the weaknesses are and we just need to sort them out." Australia was a better showing for Mercedes, but George Russell says that the team is at least 7 tenths off the Red Bull in race pace alone. And he mentioned that Mercedes now have a clear understanding of what the weaknesses of the W14 are. He implied the W14's lack of rear downforce and the lack of straight-line speed are the main ones in that list of weaknesses. That is why the team has talked about implementing a new concept for the W14 as they take a change in direction for the car's development path. The Brackley-based squad chose to stick with the W13's concept coming into 2023, but during the pre-season testing, it was evident that the concept is no match to what Red Bull had in store. Therefore, the team had to take a step back in terms of in-season car development and decide on how to approach the ground effect regulations in both the medium and long term. Toto Wolff has spoken about this change in direction, and during the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix weekend, he expressed his ideas on the new direction the team has taken. "We're making really big steps at the moment with our R&D, with our understanding in the wind tunnel. That is really big steps," Wolff told media. "We just needed to have the confirmation in Bahrain that we got it wrong, now we have that, and that's why I would never write off anything." George Russell, who had a short race at Albert Park due to his engine catching fire after the first restart, talked to media. Russell mentioned that the engineers back at the factory have been working tirelessly and have found big gains within just the last 2-3 weeks. When asked about the size of the gains, Russell mentioned that they are much bigger than what they were able to find out of the whole winter development. "Big changes are incoming, nothing that you'll see on the car this weekend because, naturally, you can't get this brought to the car that quickly. In due course, we will see some big changes and hopefully the lap times represent that. We're working really hard at the moment with these changes, but I won't give too much away. We're finding more gains in the past 2 or 3 weeks than we found in the whole winter by clearly developing in the wrong window. So it's definitely heading in the right direction." With both Toto's and Russell's explanations, it is clear that Mercedes are working on something big back at Brackley, and they do believe that whatever they are working on could potentially catapult the silver arrows back to the front of the grid. Why the team hasn't implemented the upgrade yet to the car is a complicated question. They've done a lot of aero testing and simulations with the original spec W14. Therefore, bringing upgrades before seeing if their data from testing correlates to the real world could be disastrous. It is something Toto has stressed importance on, as he did mention the team would not be fast-tracking upgrades until they are 120% sure of implementing them on the car. We are doing good steps, good developments, but you have to run them, confirm them, produce them, Wolff told Sky Sports F1 in Melbourne on Friday. So I think we are not looking for introduction before Imola. We want to do it right. Obviously, that is one area of concern the team has their full focus on, as data correlation was one of the biggest problems the Silver Arrows had in 2022, with the problems blighted W13. The exact details of the upgrade themselves are still a bit of a mystery, but the obvious favorite to be upgraded is the side pod's design. It is expected that the Brackley squad will bring in an aerodynamic concept much similar to Red Bull, because Aston Martin have seen success in it. Toto Wolff expressed his view on this scenario and said that the team has to learn from Aston Martin, and he would not be ashamed if the team comes up with a Red Bull-style car, as he wants his car to be the fastest. Lewis Hamilton has expressed his feelings about the W14, and stressed that he does not feel connected to the car. He pointed out that the cockpit positioning of the W14 is the biggest reason for this, suggesting that he is sitting too far forwards, preventing him from feeling the rear of the car. Hamilton's former teammate Jenson Button expressed his ideas on this matter and mentioned that Hamilton's driving style is far different from conventional, so he has to have a feel of the car to push it to the absolute limit. There has been no word about if this problem will be fixed with the Imola upgrade package, but Toto Wolff feels it is a fundamental problem, which would be hard to be fixed this season with the budget cap in place. If you can remember, Toto Wolff, George Russell and Lewis Hamilton are all inspecting the RB19 very closely as possible, as they are trying to find out how Red Bull have designed the monstrous RB19. And one thing they have noted and would like to implement on the W14 is how the RB19 is lowering itself on the straights. In the modern ground effect era, the closer the car gets to the ground, the more downforce it generates. So teams, especially Mercedes from Bahrain itself, are curious on how Red Bull have achieved this. Cause it's evident by the sparks flying from the rear of the Red Bull car that on high speeds, the car is lowering itself automatically and getting back up on low speeds. This becomes a clever trick, as the FIA does check how much the plank board on the underside of the car is wearing out, and no more than 1 mm of wear is allowed. But Red Bull has managed a way to control the ground clearance in fast corners to achieve even contact pressure. That proves that the Red Bull chassis is however one step ahead of the competition. And we are yet to see if Mercedes are able to replicate the same sort of performance with its planned upgrade package for Imola. When asked about the team's prospects for the next 2 races at Baku and Miami in terms of car upgrades, Toto mentioned that the team will not be making any changes by bringing upgrades to the W14 before Imola. Russell expects the team to be fighting Ferrari and Aston Martin till upgrades arrive, as he said. If we manage to get another P4 or fight for the podium, it will probably be exceeding the potential of the car. If we can fight with Aston and Ferrari again, that will be a good weekend. What are your thoughts about the Imola upgrade package? Do you think Mercedes will start to strike after this upgrade package hits the track? Drop your thoughts in the comments section down below. And on your way down, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of our future uploads to keep yourselves up to date about the 2023 Formula 1 season.